Have you ever wondered how a man behaves when he is truly in love? I'm not talking about fleeting butterflies or sweet words at the beginning. I'm talking about that deep, genuine love, the kind that comes from the soul. Because when a man truly loves you, you feel it, but you also hear it in his words, in his gestures, in what he says without even realizing it. Today, I'm going to tell you the sentences a man starts to say when his love for you is real. And if any of them sound familiar, it's likely that this love is genuine. Are you ready to listen with your heart? Then let's begin. I want you to be happy, even if it's not with me. This sentence may sound contradictory, maybe even painful at first, because how can someone who loves you want you far away from them? But if a man says this honestly, without manipulation, without drama, he is showing something very profound. His love for you is greater than his need to possess you. He loves you freely, from the soul, not out of ownership. A man who truly loves you doesn't want to see you in a relationship that no longer fulfills you. He doesn't want you to stay out of habit, fear, or convenience. He wants to see you smile sincerely, even if that smile isn't meant for him. This kind of love is rare. It's a love without ego. It demands nothing, pushes nothing, forces nothing. It blesses you even if it hurts. It lets go even when it wants to stay. It would rather see you bloom from afar than wither at his side. It shows that he loves you with maturity, that he has outgrown the need to possess and understood what true love means, wanting the best for the other person, even if that best no longer includes him. And although this sentence might sound like the end of a story, it can also be the beginning of a new one in which you realize that true love doesn't suffocate, doesn't demand constant sacrifice, and isn't based on the fear of loss. True love wants to see you happy, always, and if you find someone who tells you this honestly, listen closely, because he's speaking from his soul. How was your day? That might sound like a simple, everyday, almost automatic question, but when it comes from a man who truly loves you, it's not routine. It's emotional presence. Because if a man cares about your day, he does so not out of obligation, but because he wants to be part of your world, even if only through words. He cares how you felt, what frustrated you, what made you laugh, what exhausted you. He wants to know not only your light, but also your shadow. How was your day? Isn't a formality. It's a way of saying, even though I wasn't there, I want to be with you now. Tell me about it, because your story matters to me. It's a bridge, one that connects his emotions with yours, one that shows he doesn't just see you as a partner, but as a woman with thoughts, experiences, and feelings that deserve to be heard. It shows he sees beyond your body, desire, and physical closeness. A man who asks how your day was and stays to listen shows that he genuinely cares about your inner world, that he wants to be part of your life, not just when there are plans or kisses, but also in the small, ordinary moments of daily life. And if you find someone like that, don't underestimate it, because true love also grows in the little things. In that question that seems insignificant but actually carries a deep message. You're in my thoughts, and I care how you feel. I'm sorry, I made a mistake. Not everyone can apologize, and, unfortunately, many men were raised with the belief that admitting mistakes is a sign of weakness. But a man who loves, and loves himself, isn't afraid to say, I was wrong, because he doesn't care about always being right. He cares about protecting the connection. He cares about how you felt, what his behavior caused, what was damaged, and he wants to make it right. When a man is capable of asking for forgiveness, he shows you something very valuable, that his pride isn't bigger than his love for you, that his ego doesn't stand above the relationship, that he cares more about finding healing with you than winning an argument. That shows emotional maturity, humility, and above all, emotional responsibility. Because forgiveness isn't just a word, it's an act of courage. It means looking inward, recognizing one's mistakes, and taking responsibility, without excuses, without blaming you, without covering up his fault. A sincere apology says, "I saw that you were hurt. And that hurts me too. I know I made a mistake, and I want to do better." And that's not weakness, that's inner strength. The strength of a man who doesn't need to control you, but wants to walk with you. A man who understands that love also means repairing, not just enjoying. If you are with someone who can say, "I'm sorry," from the heart, hold on to him. Because few people reach that level of awareness. "I'm here for you." There are phrases that sound simple, but when spoken from the heart, they carry tremendous weight. "I'm here for you" is not just an expression of closeness. It's a deep emotional assurance. A man who truly loves you doesn't disappear when things get tough. He doesn't hide when you cry. He doesn't avoid the conversation when he sees you're not doing well. He doesn't say you're overreacting. He doesn't belittle your feelings. He stays. Maybe he doesn't have all the answers. Maybe he doesn't know exactly what to say. But he is there, listening, holding, feeling. And when he looks you in the eyes and says, "I'm here for you," he does it with the calm of someone who doesn't want to let go of you, especially when you need him the most. Without judgment, without pressure, without conditions. That shows a love that doesn't run away when loving hurts. A love that understands not everything is laughter and beautiful moments. A real love with roots. Because being there when everything is going well is easy. But staying when you are breaking inside, when everything is too much, when you don't even believe in yourself, that's the moment that shows who is truly there for you. A man who is present on your grey days, who doesn't leave you alone in the chaos, who holds you even when you can't put your feelings into words. That man doesn't just love you, he honors you. And he doesn't need to say it every day, because when he says it, he shows it too. So, my dear, if today someone is by your side who says, "I'm here for you," and lives it, then that love is worth more than 1,000 empty promises. Thank you for existing. This is not a thank you for cooking, not a thank you for helping, not a thank you for always being there. It's deeper, purer, rarer to hear, but unforgettable when it comes from the heart. A thank you for existing doesn't acknowledge your actions, but your being, your way of being, your mere presence in his life, just as you are, without needing to achieve anything. When a man says this, he sees you with the eyes of the soul. He sees what you bring into his life, just by being you. He values your energy, your light, your gaze, your unique way of walking through the world. What does this show? Admiration, appreciation, love that goes beyond the superficial, a love that demands nothing but is grateful for the gift of having met you. Words like these come from an awakened heart, from the realization that you are not there for him, but that you are sharing your life with him. He has understood that you are a gift, not a duty. He doesn't measure your worth by what you do. He doesn't compare you to others. He doesn't set conditions in order to appreciate you. He simply says thank you. Because he knows that life doesn't place just anyone in your path. And when you are there, with your laughter, your view of the world, your tenderness and your strength, then he knows he has the privilege of having you near. So if one day he looks at you with a gentle voice and an honest gaze, Mali, and says, "Thank you for existing," then listen closely. Because this man sees your soul, and that, my love, only few do. We'll get through this together. When a man truly loves you, he doesn't run from problems, he doesn't hide behind excuses, he doesn't disappear when life gets tough, he doesn't say, "Deal with it yourself." And he doesn't become a spectator to your internal or external struggles. He stays, he gets involved. And he says something that changes everything. We'll get through this together. This sentence, short as it may be, is incredibly powerful, because in it lies, "You're not alone, this affects me too, we'll go through it together." What does that show? Teamwork in love, mature love. A love that isn't based on ease but on the daily choice to grow together. Immature men see conflict as a threat, feel attacked, or run away to avoid dealing with problems. But a man who truly loves you doesn't see problems as wars, but as challenges he wants to face with you. And it's not about having all the answers, it's about not letting you face everything alone. When something weighs on you, he doesn't say, "Calm down," or "You're overreacting." He listens to you, he is there for you. And then he says that sentence that changes everything. "Take it easy, we'll solve this together." That builds trust. It gives you the feeling of not being alone. It shows that his love is not just desire, but emotional commitment. Because anyone can be there when things go well, but not everyone stays when it hurts, when there's a need to talk, cry, confront, and heal. And if he does, don't forget it. This is a man who doesn't just want a relationship, but a real connection, one that holds in both good and hard times. You make me a better man. When a man truly loves you, he doesn't just enjoy your closeness. He values your influence. He feels something inside him has been uplifted since you came into his life. Not because you changed him, but because your love inspires him to grow. He doesn't see you as a savior. He doesn't expect you to heal or fix him, but he recognizes that your presence makes him more aware, kinder, braver. What does this sentence reveal? A love that transforms, not drains. A love that enriches, not takes. A man who loves you deeply doesn't feel threatened by your light. He lets himself be inspired by it. He doesn't try to dim you so he can shine. He looks at you and thinks, "I want to be the best version of myself because you deserve the best." When he says, "You make me a better man," he's not just talking about goals or success. He's talking about what you awaken in him: more empathy, more responsibility, more awareness. Maybe he used to react with pride. Now he chooses humility. Maybe he used to avoid hard conversations. Well, now he sits with you, open-hearted. That's love with a purpose. That's someone who doesn't just love you, but wants to grow with you. And it's important that you recognize that, because there are loves that drain you and loves that lift you up. A man who realizes you make him better, who values your influence without being dependent on it, is someone who doesn't love you out of need, but out of awareness. And that is worth gold. I trust you. This sentence may sound simple, but it carries something powerful, a conscious decision to open up without fear. When a man says to you, "I trust you," he's not just talking about fidelity. He's speaking of something much deeper, that with you he can be fully himself, without masks, without defense. Because trust doesn't just mean believing you won't betray him, it means he can show you his doubts, his wounds, his wildest thoughts, and you won't judge him. Real trust can't be forced, it's built. And a man who loves from a place of maturity doesn't need to monitor you, test you, or control you. He doesn't interrogate you. He doesn't scan your social media. He listens to you, watches you, and chooses to trust. What does this sentence show? Emotional safety and respect. Because a man who trusts you sees you as an equal, not a threat, not a possession. And that trust, if mutual, creates something magical. A relationship where both can breathe freely, where there's no need to constantly explain yourself, where you feel free and still choose each other. Trust means giving yourself without guarantees, and that's why it's an act of courage. When he says, "I trust you," he's saying, "I believe in your word, in your energy, in your love." And that is one of the deepest things he can say. Because jealousy is not love, control is not care, constant doubt is not passion. To love is to trust, and if a man has understood that, then he won't just be a better partner, he'll be a better person. I'm listening to you. There's a big difference between hearing and listening. Hearing is passive, automatic. Listening is a choice, attention with the soul. When a man looks you in the eyes and says, "I'm listening to you," he's not just taking in your words, he's honoring your experience. He's telling you, without saying it, your feelings matter to me, your voice has a place here. And that, my love, is pure gold, because there are many relationships where women feel alone, even though they're not physically alone, where they speak and feel like they're talking to a wall, where their feelings are labeled crazy, exaggerated, or too much. But a man who truly loves doesn't belittle your feelings, doesn't change the subject, doesn't get defensive. What does he show when he truly listens? Empathy, attentive love, a heart that doesn't need to be right but wants to understand. And when a man wants to understand you, not to correct you, but to connect with you, then that's the kind of love that matters. Listening is presence. And in a time where everything moves so fast, the one who listens to you is choosing you. He chooses you from within, for your voice, your silence, your soul. If you have someone who says, "I'm listening to you," and proves it with attention, patience, and a calm gaze, treasure him. Because he doesn't just love who you are, he loves what you feel. And if you don't have him yet, don't settle for less. Your voice deserves to be heard, your story deserves an echo, and you deserve a love that doesn't just look at you, but truly listens. You look tired, can I help you? This is not an ordinary sentence, it's a quiet but deep expression of love, because he doesn't wait for you to break down to finally react. He observes, is present, and above all, he sees you, not just as the strong woman who handles everything, but as the real woman who also gets tired, who also needs support, who deserves to be carried. A man who loves deeply doesn't wait until you desperately ask for help. He doesn't need a to-do list. He sees your exhaustion in your face, your voice, your silence. And he acts, not because he has to, but because it comes from within. What does this sentence show? Practical love, not just romantic. The kind of love that doesn't just speak pretty words, but shows up with a blanket, with a coffee, with a "rest, I've got this." It's the kind of love that doesn't demand you to always be strong, that doesn't count how much you give to decide how much to give back. It's a love that cares, that stays, that lightens your load. And maybe it's not movie love, but it's the love that heals, the one that sees you even when you no longer see yourself. Because sometimes the most important thing is not someone saying, "You're strong," but someone saying, "I know you're tired, let me help you." If you have someone like that, cherish him. And if you don't yet, don't settle for less. You deserve a love that doesn't just admire what you do, but is ready to carry you when you no longer can. Remember, true love doesn't compete with you. It complements, supports, and relieves you. You and me, we're a team. This is not just a nice phrase, it's a declaration of intent, a promise, a shared vision. When a man truly loves you, he doesn't see you as a rival, but as a partner. He doesn't fight to be more right, to have more control or more power. He walks with you so that both of you can grow, strengthen each other, and build something real together. Because healthy love is not about who's right, but about finding solutions together. It's not about one winning and the other losing, but about both winning or both learning. When he says, "We're a team," he's saying, "I'm by your side in good times, but also in crisis. I won't leave you alone to make decisions. I won't run when it's time to talk, to fix, to change." What does this sentence say? Commitment, real love. A love that puts on the team jersey, not just when things go well, but especially when they get hard. And no, it's not perfect, but it doesn't vanish. It doesn't withdraw. It doesn't let you feel alone in a connection that should be supported by two people. A real team supports each other, communicates, respects one another, and celebrates together, because being a team means your victories are also his, that your battles matter to him, that he's proud when you shine and doesn't feel lost in your light. And if there's anything that defines true love, it's this. It's not about how many times someone says, "I love you," but about how much you feel accompanied every step of the way. So remember, beautiful woman, Don't settle for someone who makes you feel alone when there are supposed to be two of you. You deserve a life partner, not a spectator, a team, not a burden, a love that walks with you, not one you have to drag behind. I love you, not just when things are good. This sentence says it all. Because anyone can say, I love you, when you're glowing, laughing, confident, when everything flows and life is easy, without fights or tears. But true love doesn't show up on sunny days. It proves itself in the storm. A man who truly loves doesn't disappear when you break down. He doesn't criticize you when you're vulnerable. He doesn't pull away when even you don't know how you feel. He stays. He holds you. And he chooses you anyway, because he loves all of you, your laughter, but also your silence, your strengths, but also your flaws, your light, and your darkness too. Conditional love is convenient. It's there as long as it's easy, as long as it costs nothing. But as soon as challenges appear, it vanishes. Deep love, on the other hand, doesn't leave when things aren't perfect. It adapts, it tries, it stays. What does this sentence reveal? A man who isn't only in love with the best version of you, but honors every part of you, who doesn't just love what's easy to love, but also the parts of you you're still learning to accept. And that, beautiful woman, is priceless. Because when someone loves you like that, you can let your walls fall. You can be your whole self without filters, without always needing to be strong, without fearing love will disappear when you're not at your best. That's what we all deserve. A love that isn't selective, a love that isn't afraid of your complexity, a love that stays, even when it's hard. And if you're with someone who only loves you when everything's fine, ask yourself, is that love or just convenience? And never forget, you deserve a love that embraces your whole soul, not just your best version, but your full truth. Beautiful woman, a man who truly loves you doesn't prove it only with expensive gifts, romantic gestures, or grand promises. He shows it in daily life, in simple words that come from the soul, in silent moments that wrap around you, in small but consistent actions that say, I'm here with you, I see you, I choose you. Because true love doesn't have to be loud to be heard. You feel it in how he talks to you when you're at your lowest, in how he holds you when he can't fix anything but chooses to stay anyway, in the way you never have to doubt yourself, him, or the love. Listen to what he says, but also pay attention to what he doesn't have to say for you to feel it. That energy that doesn't lie. That presence that carries you. If this message gave you clarity about the love you deserve, cherish it, and remember, you are not made for half-hearted love. You are made for a love that is felt in the soul.